The fourth thing that I would do different if I were leaving for college today is I would organize my communication methods so that I can honor the family ships and friendships that I am leaving behind. Hi, my name is Passion Darby, and over the next month, I'm going to be sharing with you 31 things that I would do differently if I were going to college today. 31 years ago, almost to date, I made a decision as a then 18-year-old girl that I was going to college no matter what. That fall, I did leave for college, and over the last 31 years, I have learned many, many, many things that I feel like put me in a position where I can share with you all some things you all can do differently and learn from my and possibly learn from some of the mistakes that I've made or pivot some of your decisions based on some of the experiences that I've had. So, the fourth thing, as I said earlier, is that I would organize my communication methods so that I can honor the family ships and friendships that I am leaving behind. This came to me because I am in the process of packing up my apartment after residing here for almost no, it's been 6 years actually, for 6 years. And in doing so, and because my next move is going to be so big, I really wanted to excavate things and get rid of things that were no longer serving me, documents and things like that. And please remember that I did attend college in between undergrad rather between 1993 and 1998 when I graduated. So there was no internet and there were no computers in abundance. And therefore, I have a lot of handwritten hard copy letters and cards from the people who I cared about and who cared about me. So as I began to sift through all of those things, all of my different trunks, I realized that I had a multitude of different cards and letters and all those things from my family, my friends, my cousins, and even teachers who had written me letters of recommendation that were on hard copy and all these different memories that I had kept. And as I read through some of those documents, I was so touched that people had taken the time to correspond with me because, again, I did go to school down south. I am from Chicago, Illinois. So, most of those people were writing me letters from Chicago and sending them through what you all may call snail mail. So, through the post office and sending it to me just to let me know that they were thinking about me or that I was special to them at that time. And as I read those things, I began to ask myself, did I ever write these people back? And if you listen to the videos for thing one, two, three, and four, you heard me talk about how fun college life can be, particularly at a historically Black college or university. And I know for sure I was deeply engaged in my campus life. My freshman year in particular, I was voted Miss Freshman. And I was also voted freshman class president. So I had a lot of responsibilities and I had a lot of good friends and I had a lot of fun. So I was heavily engrossed in campus. And I don't honestly think I took the time to write back those people. Now, granted, again, it was in the 90s, early 90s, and we were accustomed to talking to each other on the telephone. So I did talk to my sisters all the time, and I talked to my mother all the time, and I also talked to my dad often and my grandmother all the time. So maybe I felt like I didn't have to write them back because we were on the phone a lot. But that's no excuse for my cousins and my friends. Like I found beautiful letters from my cousin Tasha, who I love deeply, and my friend Rudy, who I love deeply. And I don't think I ever took the time to write them back. So I feel really bad about that. And I feel bad again that I can't definitively say, yes, I took the time to correspond with those people and, show my appreciation for them. So that may not seem like a big deal to you all because you all are accustomed. If you're going to college today, you are accustomed to texting or emailing or being on or communicating via WhatsApp, quick forms of or methods of communication. But again, in the 90s, we did not have those methods. We did not have those technologies. So when a person wrote you a letter or purchased a card for you and sent the card to you, the person would have to write the letter in writing, handwriting, like with a pen and a paper. And they would have to um, go to Hallmark because we could not order things from Amazon. There was no Amazon.com. They would have to travel to Hallmark, go sift through all the cards, find a good, the card that mostly expressed what they were trying to say, and then they would have to handwrite those cards, handwrite those letters, go to the post office, purchase envelopes, purchase stamps, postage stamps, and then mail those letters off. Okay. So that was quite the process that they would have to go through. So I think I feel bad because I know the effort that went into communicating with someone who was far away. And I um, may have forgotten that I needed to do the same for them, given my campus, despite my campus life, I'll say. I should have also had a balance and made sure that I communicated with my friends and family the way that they were communicating with me. Now, again, I can't say I did not. I just can't say I definitively did. And the kind of person that I am, I typically can say what I definitively done. So that makes me feel like I didn't do it. So I I don't want my friends and family to think that they were not as important to me as I was to them at the time, or that what they had going on in their lives was not as important as my new college experience. So if I were going to college today, this is what I would do differently. I would set aside a 5 hour block once a month to communicate with my friends and family in a dedicated fashion. So, again, I don't want to act as if you shouldn't be present in your college experience. You absolutely should be present in your college experience. And you also have to remember you can't take everybody with you. So, sometimes it's important to remember that you should not shrink where you are or shrink your college experience or your life as a college student just to please others. But there is a way to strike a balance. So I would have just taken out a blocked out space of 5 hours, and I would have just dedicated that time to communicating with my family and my friends and returning their correspondences in whichever way they had corresponded with me. I would also contact everyone who contacted me to ensure that I don't make them feel ignored, because to be honest with you, about 3 years ago, I had a very tragic situation happen with me, and I really needed to lean on those very people who I got letters from and cards from, and so I did not. Um, I do not ever want anybody to feel ignored just because I was away at college, because I don't like the way that feels when I feel ignored. So I think it's important that if a person is reaching out to you, you take the time to reach out back to them. So that's what I would do. I would reach out to those exact people who had reached out to me to show my appreciation or that I value our communication. The third thing I would have done differently is initiate contact with 1 to 3 people who I had not heard from, just to keep those lines of communication open. I mean, when I think about it, I was growing up on the west side of Chicago. Oh my goodness, the fun I used to have with my friends and family on the west side. And so I would have just reached out to them just to keep that communication alive and let them know how much they meant to me, even though I had to transition to a new phase in my life as a college student. The fourth thing I would have done differently is I would be careful to not dominate the conversation with narratives about my college life because many of my friends, well, most of my friends went to college, first of all, because I went to a college prep high school, but we'll talk about that another time. But there were some of my friends who did not go to college, but it doesn't mean that their life experiences or their post high school college life experiences weren't just as valuable, important, or special. So I would definitely not dominate the conversation talking about my college life. I would want to hear about their college life, and I would ask them about their college or non college life, is so that we can both have a chance to share what's going on in our lives. Number five, I would invite them to visit me in college on special occasions, such as homecoming or just for a long weekend, so that my previous life can be a bit infused into my current college life. Now, I did do this sometimes with my little sisters. In fact, my little sisters used to come and visit me from time to time. And to be honest with you, those were some of the most special times of my college life. Now, I had fun with them at home in Chicago, of course, but when they would visit me in college, we used to have so much fun. We would drive to different cities locally and just have the best time. In fact, I remember my youngest sister came to visit me in Alabama, and me, her, and my first younger sister drove to Atlanta with my then boyfriend, and we went to the Lenox Mall. And the singer Monica was very popular at that time, and Monica was at the mall. She was at Lenox Mall, just walking around being a normal person, even though she was like a superstar. And my sister Tashura was so crazy about her. And she ran, no, we were going down with the escalator, and Monica was coming up, and my little sister jumped over the escalator barrier and went back up the escalator so that she can go meet Monica. And guess what? Monica was so kind and so gracious and so unbothered by my sister's fanatic episode. She was such a kind person. So I remember moments like that because my sisters used to come visit me and we used to have a good time. So you can do that with your family and friends and just make sure that you infuse them a little bit, because there are some events that you can invite them to without losing a beat in your college life. So let's switch gears. How can you avoid the errors that I made, or I guess I shouldn't call it an error. I want to change that word. How can you avoid having to ask yourself, did I ever correspond back with my family and friends? Because that's the question that I ended up asking myself. So one of the ways, and these are similar to what I said I would do, but with a little, a little extra. The first thing that you can do to avoid having to ever ask that question is take advantage of the technology you have today. I did not have these technologies when I was going away to college, but you do. So set aside a block of time where you can text, email, or have virtual calls, or simply send a quick thinking of you voice message via WhatsApp or via text, and commit to that time. So set it aside at the top of the month or the top of the academic year for every month of the academic year, and don't waver. Commit to it and follow through so that you can keep up with your family and your friends and let them know that they're still special to you despite your new college life. Number two, you can invite your family and friends to your college events, such as homecoming. And then my most recent graduate school offered something called Mom's Day and Dad's Day. And so, if your college has time events like that, you can definitely invite your family and your friends, your parents, and ask them to come and visit you. And just enjoy yourself and just infuse them into the campus and make them feel welcome when they do arrive. Give them a tour of the campus, a tour of your dorm room, introduce them to your college friends, and just make them feel part of the overall college scene. Number three, you can, when you do talk to them, ask them about their college experience or any other experiences that they may be having. In other words, do not dominate the conversation with your own college life. So you can say something like, let's talk for a few minutes. I'll tell you what's going on with me for the first few minutes, and then it's your turn, or vice versa, so that you all both get to share what's going on with your lives. Number 4, you can purchase a college memory trunk like I have, or you can use technology again and create a digital folder where you keep copy and paste all of your text messages from your loved ones, or your emails from your loved ones, or if you get actual cards in the mail. I don't know if you all still do that these days. Put those in your college memories trunk and keep those forever. You may never know when you might want to sit down and read those again. Okay. Another thing that you can do is um, make a ritual out of setting aside that time. So, like I said, don't just do it for 1 month. Think about it at the top of the academic year and say, you know what, every month of this academic year on the first of the year, I mean, not the first of the year, the first of the month, I am going to set aside this time to talk to my friends and my family, and I'm not going to waver. So again, you could turn that into a ritual. And then lastly, speaking of rituals, this is something I wish I would have done really. You can throw yourself an annual welcome home party. So every time you finish an academic year, you can go home and have a get together with your friends. It could be at a local restaurant, it could be at your home, but just give yourself a local annual welcome home from college party where you invite all of your friends and your family, and then there you can share what has been going on in your college life. I've even thought about doing like a digital story with images of all the exciting things I've done that year. And then you can play that during the party and let people ask you about it. Or you could just do a get together where everyone gets together and talk about what they have done over the past year, but it could just be themed for your welcome home. If I think I articulated that well. Okay, so those are my tips. Now, if you are going to college in the fall and you are going to miss a particular person or group of people when you do go to college, give them a shout out in the comments. Just shout out their first name or their nickname or something like that, and let them know that they're important to you, and that no matter that you're going to college, you are going to have them on your mind, and you're going to take them to college with you in your heart. So tomorrow, I will discuss the 5th thing that I would do differently if I were going to college today. Thank you for listening, and please go to college.